Then 3 times a day they're allowed to use the smoking room or the injection room.
You have headache, you take medicines for your headache. I take medicines, it's for me a medicine.
Most societies, if they've tolerated this, have tolerated it because it affects a part of the population that they don't care about or manage not to care about.
America's drug czar, John Walters, says these user rooms are a terrible idea.
We want to make people well. We don't want to settle for institutions that just allow people to be addicted more safely.
This doesn't look like a good life, but at least instead of being street criminals searching for a fix, it allows addicts to hold jobs and support families. This woman says 1 shot of heroin and she can go to work. So you can do your job stoned?
No. If I am stoned, they send me at home.
But you come here, you get high.
Listen, I have my use under control. Before I had this job, I maybe take 8 times a day or 10 times a day, I take a shoot. But now I only want to take a shoot a day. So it's only to make me feel normal.
What the Dutch are doing makes sense to Judge Gray.
They're addressing it as managers. We address it as moralizers. We address it as a character issue, and if you fail that test, we put you in prison. They are removing the criminal element. They have a lower drug problem, they have a lower crime problem, they have fewer people in prison.
What started here in Holland has now spread. Today, police in most of Europe ignore marijuana use. In Spain, Italy, and Luxembourg, they've decriminalized most drug use, and in Portugal recently, all drug use. That's not to say that all the experiments succeed. Switzerland once tried what became known as Needle Park, a place where anyone could use any drug.
It was just Junkie Park. There were like 500 to 1,000 people every day there who would just like use drugs or deal drugs.
It attracted crime because it became a magnet for junkies from all over Europe. And in Amsterdam, ABC's hidden camera shows legalizing marijuana shops doesn't stop people from selling illegal drugs.
I have heroin, I have cocaine, I have ecstasy.
Critics say Holland's become an island of drug use.
Ecstasy coke. How much? 100 gram.
But while this does happen, the use of drugs in Holland and all Europe is still lower, by far, than in the U.S. And European countries are proposing even more liberalization. American politicians have shown little interest in that.
We in America should have a different approach. We should discourage drug use, and we should try to enforce our laws.
But we've been trying that now for 30 years, and we still have addicts.
We have been trying it for 30 years, and we've had an extraordinary amount of success, and yes, we still have addicts, which means it's a very difficult problem that we're trying to achieve.
He showed us a headline from a British newspaper. This, he says, demonstrates that liberalization hasn't worked.
Drugs fuel crime rise.
But the crime part is caused by prohibition. This article is about heroin crime, and heroin's still illegal there. If it were legal, people wouldn't be committing crime to pay for it.
Well, let's talk about that. After prohibition ended, did the criminal element, did organized crime go out? No, organized crime continued.
But it diminished.
They shifted. They moved to other elements of crime. You do not win in these efforts by giving in.
Giving in. By that he means legalizing. Some thoughts about that when we return. How many wars can America fight? Now that we're at war against terrorism, can we also afford to fight a drug war against millions of our own people? Is it wise to fight on 2 fronts?
Second platoon, 3 o'clock, they're on the other hill.
The last time America engaged in a war of this length was Vietnam. And then, too, government put a positive spin on success of the war.
Now, America wins the wars that she undertakes. Make no mistake about it.
We've heard the same kind of optimism about the drug war.
And we're beginning to win the crusade for a drug-free America.
But today, more people have doubts.
It's the legitimate function of government to protect us from each other. But where government goes astray is where we try to protect us from ourselves.
Way of arraignment.
It makes as much sense to me to put this actor Robert Downey Jr. in jail for his drug abuse as it would have Betty Ford in jail for her alcohol abuse. It's really no different. Hold people accountable for what they do, but not for what they put into their bodies.
Why not sell drugs the way we do alcohol, he says, but maybe with more restrictions.
Make it available to adults. Brown packaging, no glamour, take the illegal money out of it, and then furnish it, holding people accountable for what they do. These drugs are too dangerous not to control.
Legal drugs. That's a frightening thought. Maybe more people would try them. Judge Grace says even if they did, that would do less harm than the war we've been fighting for the past 30 years.
What we're doing now has failed. In fact, it's hopeless. This is a failed system that we simply must change.
Drugs do hurt people, but isn't the drug war worse? That's our broadcast for tonight. I'm John Stossel. Good night.
For more information on